In this video I'm going to talk about this homemade quadcopter that's running on a single 18650 battery and flies up to 20 minutes.
So this concept isn't new, and there are a bunch of videos already on YouTube, even dating back a few years ago. I still think there's stuff to try out though, and my quad is definitely not the lightest or the best, but my goal is to find out its limitations and see what I can improve. So before doing some test flights and then improving stuff, let's explain how I built the thing and what components I used. The frame is this one from AliExpress, and I used HGLRC 1202 1100 kV motors with these 3-inch propellers. And the FPV camera is a Caddx and Nano. I initially wanted to build it based on another video, and they used the Beta FPV Matrix flight controller. However, I accidentally soldered some SMD components together and could only fix it by removing them, but I was unable to put them back on. I might be able to repair it someday, so hopefully it's not a total loss. The drawback with this one is that its ERRS receiver antenna is just a wire, so the range is already limited by that. So I took this chance and switched to the GEP RC Taker flight controller. The drawback with this one is having no built-in VTX transmitter. For that I used the TBS Unify Pro 32 Nano. However, it's getting pretty hot. So I glued a piece of carbon fiber on the frame and mounted it with a thermal pad on that. And finally I put an HGLRC M100 GPS receiver on a piece of plastic, so it's mounted away from the carbon fiber frame. Right now I'm using Polycell P26A batteries, and the highest flight time I got was 17 minutes. But I bet flying less aggressively can give you up to 20 minutes, so let's round that up for the video. Anyway, what you're seeing here is a long range attempt, and I just wanted to see how far I can get. Going forward in the video I got around 1.45 kilometers out, and the video is getting pretty bad. I'm also getting intermittent RC loss, so I hit return to home. On this flight these limitations are mainly caused by the stock receiver antenna, which is just a simple one. I bought an actual T antenna, so this will be fixed in the future. I also had the VTX on just 25 milliwatts and used some directional antennas. One problem though is that the VTX has a thermal protection that's reducing the output power, and when setting it and the power higher, it gets very hot. So maybe I should use some thermal paste instead of the thermal pad. With this battery I have around 2000 milliamp hours available, and at that point I had a lot left. So I could have gone much further. Either way, it's flying back in return to home mode when I made a bad mistake. I wanted to take control again, but for some stupid reason I hit this arm instead. I immediately noticed my mistake and armed it again. However, I didn't realize that rearming doesn't work in return to home mode, so it crashed. I had to drive to the rough location and had to track it down, checking where the video signal is getting stronger and weaker. In this reenactment I already changed the OSD to display coordinates, but at the time I didn't have that. Luckily I found it again, and apart from a detached motor wire, there was no other damage from this 50-meter drop. After that I not only repaired the drone, but also changed some settings in the VTX and used some thermal paste instead of the pad, and this helped a lot with keeping things cool. I also changed the packet rate on my radio to 250 Hz, which should get me more range. After that I attempted a new flight, and this time I was actually elevated a little bit, and this helped a lot with the transmission. On this flight I actually got 2.5 kilometers away, and I just turned around because there are houses and a river in front of me, and I've never done any long range FPV, so I'm slowly working myself up to flying longer and longer distances. I found another great spot which even had a bench and was also elevated a little bit compared to the surrounding terrain. So I attempted another flight, and this time I got 3 kilometers away. I probably could have pushed further, but at that time I thought 3 kilometers is a good milestone. I think in the future I will put a HD or even 4K camera on this thing and then compare the flight times with and without the added weight.